Periphery is back with new music. Thank the heavens above. Their album releases on May 15th on their own label, 3 Dot Recordings. It's a killer. I'm psyched to have new music. Let's talk about it.
So Mr. God is a deity, that I know, and he is also taking away autonomy based on what I can see with the lyrical content. And they're bad about it. Meshuggah-like mad about it. Am I right on that?
I am not the lyrical guy, so I rely on you to bring forth lyrical content and meaning and things of that nature. What I do know is that this is a pretty crusher Periphery track. They're back with the heavy on this one. Periphery 5, Djent is not a genre, is, I don't want to say more experimental, but they kind of branched off a little bit more than they had in prior albums. And if this song is any indication of their level of anger, then this is, I'm sure, going to be a pretty heavy record, and I'm very excited about that.
Well, it certainly felt like they leaned into their djent roots, if you will. And, you know, it definitely felt like, to me, a very dark sonic place that they went to.
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but is it me, or are the bass and the guitars tuned to the same level? Did I hear that correctly?
You mean in, excuse me, in terms of the mix?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. The bass is very prominent in the mix on this one, which is always great. Nolly, Get Good, used to be a sort of full-time member of the band. He is still very much a part of the band, but he's not an active member in terms of touring and all that. His bass tones are monstrous. They're incredible, and they shine through very much on this track, and hopefully they will on the rest of the album as well. Interestingly, perhaps to some, not to others, this track is all played on baritone guitars, which, for those who don't know, the neck tends to be a little longer. Yep. A longer scale, which allows the tunings to be a little lower. They can maintain string tension, all that fun technical stuff. But the result is nice, heavy, ugly, low, dark tones. And this track is absolutely lousy with them. And for our guitar playing fans out there, namely myself, Misha wrote this track on a new signature guitar that Jackson Guitars built for him. It's a Surfcaster baritone, and it is a stunning guitar. If you want one, I hope you've been saving your money, because it's a limited run, and they're going between, I think I saw $5,000 and $8,000 a piece. So they are not inexpensive, but man, does it sound good.
When I win the lottery, do you want a house or that guitar? It's up to you.
I would,
or both.
I have a house. I mean, I'd take both, but I'd lean towards that guitar because it's pretty nasty.
Yeah. Well, you need a big house so you can have all the bands come into your studio and do what you've been meant to do on this planet. Polymetric drumming. Look at me. I'm paying attention.
Look at you, buddy.
Look at me. Yeah, you're rubbing off on me. But the drumming on this track is absolutely vicious. And I want to go see them live just to watch the drumming take place.
Yeah, Matt Halpern is a great drummer. Again, I think he was the second drummer in the band, but he's been with them forever, and he is a power drummer. Misha often puts a lot of he sketches out drum parts and then hands them off to Matt, who then finesses and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, credit goes to Nolly for Matt's drum tones alongside Matt. Nolly, again, is an integral part of this band. And he is a studio genius, and just knows how to pull all the right sounds out of everything. Along with Misha, that's not to discount anybody else in the band, because they're all technically extremely savvy guys. But yeah, the drums are monstrous on this.
It's a filthy, very filthy song, and you could even hear the clank of the strings if you listen really close. And I knew that this, when I was listening to it the first time, I was like, oh, John is going to like the production quality on this. Yep. And so do tell, is this actually like as good as it gets for you from a production standpoint?
Well, it's top notch. Everything Periphery does, I put right up at the top. When Misha and Jake and Mark sit down and write these songs, they do a lot of, I think the term is top-down mixing, where as they're writing ideas, they are listening and auditioning to these parts with a full mastering chain and all the tools on there that give them a good sense of what it's going to sound like at the end. Obviously, then it goes through all their, human filters and then Nolly mixes and all that. But they are all so good and talented at what they do. Their product is just, they always put out great products. Even the earliest Periphery stuff. Hell, for that matter, Misha's demos that he was releasing prior to the beginning of Periphery and throughout, even his demos have production level that's better than a lot of really big name bands out there. And I think it's because they're all kind of technical nerds. They really get into it, and they love the digging deep and extracting every bit of awesome that they can.
And I will say this, and I recently, in my professional life, started my own business. And when you own your own record label, 3 Dot Recordings is theirs. They have the ability to do what they want to do, and they don't have to answer to anybody but themselves. You're going to put a lot more TLC into everything that you do and think through everything. And you could hear it on this one track. And I found it interesting too. I've read that this is considered a hard reset for them, and it's just more aggressive. Right.
It is.
I mean, it's more aggressive than what we heard recently. And I think we did a podcast on this a while back, right? On the last record.
Yeah, we did P5 back in the day to mixed. I've always been a Periphery fanboy, so I get excited anytime they put anything out, even if I don't love it, I still love it. But you mentioned sort of a reset. Along those lines, this is the first Periphery album minus the Juggernaut Alpha and Omega double record that came out in 2015 that doesn't follow the standard naming convention. They had Periphery 1, which was sort of self-titled, Periphery 2, this time it's personal, then the Juggernaut double album, Periphery 3, Select Difficulty, Periphery 4, Hail Stan, Periphery 5, Djent is not a genre. This one is just a pale blue dot.
Hang on, dude. You call yourself a fan? Come on, John. It's white. A pale white dot. White. Get it together, man.
So, they're making some changes, which is cool. Again, we talk about it all the time. Can they evolve? Of course they can evolve. And they seem to be doing that here a bit.
Well, the new album is a pale white dot. It's coming out on May 15th on 3 Dot Recordings. Runtime, 47 minutes and 38 seconds. Track list is Obsession, Talk, Mr. God, which we're talking about, Heaven on High, Unlocking, Subhuman, which is going to be featuring one Will Ramos from Lorna Shore.
Yes.
Blackwall, Malevolent, Carry On, Neon Valley, and Everyone Dies Alone at the very end. And of course, I started thinking of Everything Dies by Typo Negative. So I'm curious about how that song is going to play out right away. But great track. You had me hooked right away on this. I sent it to you, then I listened to it, and then you're like, we're doing this. And it's a great track, and I can't wait for the whole record.
They're such a good band. I mean, if you're into progressive metal or the heavy music in general, I mean, they're just, I was going to say, I don't know how people can't like Periphery, but there's a host of bands out there that are objectively great bands that people don't like, myself included. So I retract that statement about I don't understand how you could not like Periphery, but I'm a fanboy, man. I'm a friggin' fanboy. They work at the top of what they do. They put so much care into writing, into producing, mixing, like everything they do is done with purpose. And I think that's really cool. And I think it shows through. Now, maybe I look for it more because I am such a fan, but I'm very excited about this record, and May 15th can't come soon enough.
Agreed.
So that's that. If you haven't heard it, listen to it.
Yeah, listen to Spencer have an absolute conniption fit, because that's kind of what it is. And then Misha, Jake, and Mark kind of are three-headed hydra of fucking destruction behind him. So, yeah.
All right. Good shit. Can't wait for the next one, and we will absolutely be talking about this album when it comes out.